Welcome back to Keeping It Real. I'm David Grossman. Great to be here live from the kiosk on All Talk TV. We have with us Ron Singer. Ron Singer is a good friend, an old friend. I've known him for many years. We used to do a radio show together on Chin Multicultural Radio Station a number of years ago. We were on the same show. And it's great to have you here in the studio, Ron. Welcome.
Well, it's great to be here.
So Ron is an associate broker with Megacorp Insurance Agencies. So he does everything from insurance, no matter how easy, no matter how difficult, regular life insurance, travel insurance. But he's here today to talk about RSPs and investing because it's that time of year. And after all, Ron Singer says it is not an act of patriotism, although some could argue that maybe it is an act of patriotism, although I don't know how many people are going to say thank you, to pay in the highest tax bracket.
No, exactly. So it's RSP season. It's a terrific way for you to pay less in income tax and generate more in your retirement income. But what I'm talking about to people is I think that you should be, if you're a person who's looking to save for retirement, it's not as much focusing on the investment. You should get a person that you want to deal with. I'm not a person, I don't recommend you tell your mechanic how to fix cars. So if you've got an interest, instead of just researching on the internet, find a person you trust. Like, I feel you should have a doctor you can trust, a lawyer you can trust.
Yeah.
Have somebody. Now, for instance, there's a couple of things coming up that not everybody knows. I have access to a bank, a daily interest savings account that offers 2%. It's daily interest savings. And some instruments, you don't even get that in 5 years. Now, the point is, I'm working with this all the time. And I think it's a big job for people, a bewildering job, to get on the internet and, sort of studying everything. So what I do, the person I look for, somebody who wants to meet me, I meet them over coffee for about 10 or 15 minutes. I find out their goals, and then we work together on that basis.
You said that there are 3 things that make make people's savings grow, and 3 things that stop them from growing. Is this something you can share with us today, or they have to call you to get that?
That's a good point. I knew you were going to ask me. It's a universal laws, 3 things that make your savings grow.
Okay.
No matter what kind of instrument, there's 3 things that stop your savings from growing. Now, I believe you're going to post my cell phone number on the screen. If people want to find out, they can give me a call.
Okay. So we're just going to whet people's appetite. Okay, so let's talk about segregated funds.
Okay. Segregated funds are the biggest secret that few people know about. What are segregated funds? Very simply, it's an investment fund offered by the insurance industry that has some absolute guarantees. Some funds guarantee 75% of your principal. Some funds guarantee 100% of your principal. Mm-hmm. And that's, as we talked about a little earlier, that's one of the things, the knowledge I have access to, that in the correct circumstances, I can recommend to people.
Okay, so if you want to get, you can get any kind of fund, whether it's money market as a segregated fund, money market, bond fund, equity, or balanced funds. But if some people are worried about the principal, things like equities, right? Yeah. This is one way of, if you want a little bit more higher risk on the upside, but still protecting the...
Okay, let's dial back a little.
Sure.
First of all, you're right. They offer guarantees. Maybe you could get into an equity fund. But how I operate, before any funds are recommended, I meet with the person, I find out their goals. I'll give you an example. Let's say a person wants a crackshot equity fund that's doing terrific, and I find out 6 weeks later they're intending to put this money down on a house. Now, I have to ask questions to find out, and then based on the answers, based on their risk tolerance.
Right. So you find
then I
out
recommend
what
something.
people's long-term objectives, how far away they are from retirement, for example, is whether you need the money in 6 months or 10 years.
Absolutely, and that can be key.
Okay, so it is the time of year for RSPs. Do you often find a mad rush at the last minute?
Yes, and that's another good point. I'm glad you brought it up.
And what is the deadline again? Is it the end of February?
Well, technically March 1st, but you don't want to be waiting at the post office at that time to have it date stamped and sent in. Because sometimes it's a mad rush and some people aren't as well prepared, as I know you are, that especially this daily interest account, so if people aren't sure, should it be a bond, should it be balance, then I recommend, you know what, let's put it in the 2% daily interest. You
Right.
can always transfer it tax-free when all the smoke is cleared.
Do you ever recommend that people should borrow money to purchase an RSP?
Okay, you know, that is a strategy, and every person's different. I don't have investment advice that one size fits all. So some people do to catch up. Some people borrow, and then when they get the money back from the government, they can pay it back in one fell swoop. But that's something, I don't offer generic advice like that because everybody's different. Like I said, I don't know. Somebody might be buying a house in 3 months, and then if I've said you got to get an RSP loan, I put them in a bad situation. So I think the first thing is you got to ask questions, and when you ask questions, then the person will know, and then they'll get the best for them.
What about these tax-free savings accounts? Do you ever recommend these to people?
You know, that's an example of a client of mine. Went to the bank, was convinced, put money in a tax-free savings account, put it in. It was terrific. But that money should have gone into an RSP that year, so she found out that she had to pay a lot of income tax. So after review, I found out about this. We put the money from the tax-free savings account into an RSP, and now she's not paying any tax this year. So that's just an example of one size doesn't fit all, and you have to find out. I'll give you an example. Very few people I know go to a doctor's office and ask, got any good operations?
Right.
You go, the doctor makes some tests.
It depends on the doctor. But generally,
No,
hopefully they do some kind of diagnosis first. Yeah.
That was my point,
Yeah.
that they would take some tests.
They certainly should. Right. Okay. Well, there you go. And of course, if people call you, you're going to give them the 3 things that makes their savings grow, and 3 things that stop them from growing.
Yes, I will.
Okay. So the phone number to call is 647-895-1575. We're talking with Ronald Singer, associate broker from Megacorp Insurance Agencies. RSP season is upon us. Call Ron for that. Hopefully we'll have Ron back in the future to talk about travel insurance, life insurance. There's a lot that he can talk to people about, but now is the time to get your RSPs topped up or whatever it is. He's got the funds, whether it's savings accounts, money market funds, segregated funds. He's got the products. Ron, thank you very much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
Much appreciated. Give Ron a call. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to be back with Teresa Rene from Design to Connect, speaker and owner from Design to Connect, about some of the online courses that she's got coming up. And she's got tips for you. She's actually going to do a little walkthrough of Google Plus and how, as a real estate agent, it can help you. So hang in there. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.